guys, this is Liam here from 94.7 The Pulse, here to welcome in Ben and Rocky from Mood Lifters, the tribute band coming our way. And I actually have one of the flyers here, given to me by Josh, for the Max Schwartz gig that's coming up on the 24th of August. So, very nicely done design there from the people bringing you out, David Roy Williams Entertainment. How long has this been planning in the making? And special thanks to Joshua Ben in advance for getting this whole thing done in the first place. Without him, this would not be happening.
Yes, thank you to Joshua as well from us. In terms of how it came about, it's really Joshua gets a lot of credit. He raised the idea with David Roy Williams Entertainment and said that, he pointed out to him, Rush never come over to Australia and toured. That there was, a pent-up demand for Rush fans to over there to see live Rush on the continent of Australia. So he had seen some videos from our YouTube page and on Facebook, and he was impressed, and he raised that with David Roy Williams, who then reached out to us, and we started a discussion about whether a tour would work and all the particulars. And that took a little while, but we got it all squared away, and we're just super excited to be coming over there. I mean, we take our Rush very seriously, and everyone's gonna see that at the shows that we don't mess around. We want it to be the full Rush experience, and it's very important to us to get the music right and the sound right, the tones right. So that's why we think we'll be good representatives of the brand of Rush coming over to Australia.
Yes, we had actually our own tribute band in the mid-90s. I think Josh might have actually told you this as well. Hemispheres was the name of ours. There was only like 3 one-off shows done in the mid-90s, but very, very great shows. So definitely there's a bit of something, but yeah, Rush is quite underground when it comes here in Australia. It's very hard to find in the market here, especially vinyl hunting is particular. Anything can go between $30 to maybe $90 if it's original pressing. Remasters sold $50. So my Power Windows one, I think, was that. But yeah, I think the most expensive I've gone for one, I'm going to say probably the $70, which was for my original pressing of Permanent Waves. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's
that's a commitment.
Yes, it's a very good commitment. And seeing by your videos as well, also on YouTube, I think in terms of vocals, Rocky nails down the most accurate of Geddy Lee of any front person I've ever seen. So big props.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, Rocky, she's amazing. We're coming off a show last night, actually, and it was a 2-hour show, and Rocky just absolutely killed it. I mean, she was, she's in full Rocky / Geddy form last night, and we enjoyed that show.
Yes.
Yes, it was really fun. It was a good show.
The clip I checked out was Bastille Day, and I don't think anyone, maybe Solar Federation, but definitely you're probably first pick for me. Is you got that early growl of like early years Geddy that is nailed perfectly. So
Thank you. I'll work on it all the time. Thanks.
Yeah. So you went over to Scotland as well this year as well. So first time the band was up in the UK. What was that like?
Well,
Rocky?
It was hot. We were not expecting it to be hot, but it was amazing. It was so beautiful. And everyone was so sweet and nice and supportive. The community was just amazing. The audience was so fun because they were so involved and just so stoked to be there, just like we were. So it was really cool. The energy was amazing there. We would love to come back someday. It was awesome.
Yeah, we had the show was in a converted greenhouse venue, and it's normally I can't say it was really a ridiculously hot day outside, but it was a nice day and sunny and not a cloud in the sky, and it definitely got toasty inside that venue. So
greenhouse. Yeah.
It was a t-shirt show for sure, but everyone over at Rush Fest Scotland has been really kind to us. They invited us. Our first contact was being invited to do a song for Songs for Neil 4, their compilation tribute album for Neil, and we did No One at the Bridge from the Fountain of Limneth from Caress of Steel, and we actually have done a track for Songs for Neil 5 that's sort of in the can, so to speak, but it's going to be grand designs from Power Windows, which you're wearing the shirt I see, so you got that going.
Hang on, there's more to it. So,
oh, there you go. Oh, there's more in the back.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
nice. That's
So
great.
this is a repressed one which I made myself as a one-off. So it's my
Okay,
favorite
well,
album as well. So
oh yeah, it's wonderful. So we considered it quite a challenge to do grand designs. We've played it live, but you know, doing it on a studio style recording gave us the freedom to try to get even closer to the elaborate arrangement, and rest in peace to Peter Collins for his work on that
yeah,
album.
that's he just kicked the can then only a few days ago when I heard the news, because I have a few albums in my collection. My Science Rush, of course. He did the first two albums for Nick Kershaw, Human Racing and The Riddle. That's where I know him best from. But yeah, Power Windows is probably one of my highlights for his producing career.
Yeah,
So
it's a masterful production. I mean, it's just it's so elaborate, and so it was a challenge for us to replicate that, but also a fun one. I mean, we played it live, but we had the freedom to, you know, to double track a little bit and do some stuff that we want to do, get some harmony vocals from Rocky in there at the end. So anyway, we love those folks over there at Rushfest Scotland. We'd hope to get back sometime. That was just a great experience.
yes. So where does your Rush roots stem from? It's something that Rush fans obviously like to do, the channel. So where do you stem from in terms of your history of Rush?
Should I go first or Ben?
Sure, Rocky.
Okay.
Take it.
Well, when I was born, I'm just kidding. My mom, my dad, and my uncles used to play a bunch of music for me when I was a kid. So I never really knew what, year or era anything was really from. So I remember that I think the first song I ever heard was Time Stands Still, and I thought it was about three people singing when I was a kid. I had no idea like what the band was or what everyone looked like, or that it was three people. I had like no idea. So then fast forward, I get older, and my uncle and my dad take me to a bunch of shows. They take me to Rush, and I probably see maybe 3 of their shows live. And then I realized, it's 3 guys making all this noise, and that's so crazy. And I was mind blown by their musicianship. Just like all their songs were just so intricate and intentional, and just so like, it was just super cool. I was super into them, and now I'm here covering their music, and I'm just honored to be here. But yeah, it was mostly just my family that got me turned on to Rush. And then when I started covering them for Why Not, it was like, that's when I started really learning all of their catalog, and just getting even more deeply into this amazing band. So, and it's growing forever. It keeps growing, my love for them. So yeah.
And for me, the family connection is there as well. My when I was a junior high school kid, my sisters were going around playing Permanent Waves and then Moving Pictures in the house. And, your initial reaction is, I can't be into the same things my sisters are into. So, I was locking myself in rooms with Black Sabbath and Jethro Tull and all that stuff. But I moved away to New York for a year in high school, my 9th grade of high school year, and MTV was just starting out at that time in 1983, and they were playing Exit Stage Left, and I just turned the TV on one night, and that concert was on. I started watching. I started to hear the familiar melodies of what my sisters have been playing, but I'm watching this band going, these guys are amazing. Like, this is ridiculous, So I'm like, forget the sister thing. I'm into this band now. And I didn't know, I thought it was just an MTV only thing because they used to show concerts, from time to time. So they rebroadcasted a couple of days later, and it was like a 1-hour version of Exit Stage Left. And I took a cheap, like 1-speaker tape recorder, and I pressed it up against the 1 speaker of the television set and hit record and recorded that. And I put that on a Walkman. I listened to Exit Stage Left in mono for I wore the tape out for 3 months before I even realized it was actually a commercial release and I could buy it in stereo, you know. So anyway, the love was there immediately, and it prompted me to want to play guitar. You know, really, I've always been interested in guitar, but that was the impetus for, you know, I'm really going to do this. And so I learned to play guitar playing Rush, and I've been playing it my whole life. It's sort of been the soundtrack of my life, basically.
Incredible. Not only for myself, the time stands still. The fourth additional vocalist being Amy Mann, of course, from Till Tuesday. That's how I discovered her music through that particular song. But also, Exit Stage Left is one of the only few I can say I have it on multiple formats. I also have the original cassette video of that.
Oh, great.
A UK pressing of it from definitely, I think, 81, 82 as well. So, and
Yeah.
also I have connections with Jethro Tull, interviewed Peter John Vitesse from the Broadsword years, and also interviewed Steve Hackett from Genesis, who, as we know, is a massive influence on Alex Lifeson.
Yes, wonderful. Love Steve Hackett.
Yes, a great musician. So the future of the tour, obviously, I think hinted at by the flyer, is we're getting the entirety of Moving Pictures as the feature album. So what came to this decision that we're basically doing kind of like the Time Machine 2011 tour, where we're having Moving Pictures as the spotlight?
Well, we thought, you know, look, I mean, it's a special album. It marks sort of the next step up in Rush's career, and it's iconic. And we thought if Australia's not going to get a lot of live Rush, then we got to make it count when we do come over there. So we wanted to do something special. And, you know, when Rush did the Time Machine tour, they took that intermission and they came out and played the entirety of Moving Pictures. And I just remember that knowing that was going to happen, the excitement during that intermission, I mean, of that show, you know. So I'm just looking forward to playing it. You know, it's as it is, there's so many staples on there. You know, our set list was bound to have a good chunk of the album anyway. We have not performed the Camera Eye live yet, so we're working on that one now. And then that'll fill out the album really for us. The rest of it we have performed at different times. One quick funny story about that too was that our drummer messaged me after we came up with our Australia set list, and he said, you know, if we're going to play the entire Hemispheres album, why don't we just play it in a row after we, and I was like, no, Matt, we're not playing the entire Hemispheres album. We're playing the entire Moving Pictures album. Like, pay attention, buddy. Right. But then it turns out, I look at the list and I'm like, wait a minute, we've got the entire Hemispheres album on there too. So that was mind-boggling. So I said, unfortunately, the answer to that is not to reshuffle them and play in a row, but we had to get a little bit more album diversity into our set list. So we made some changes. We are going to play it's in the press release, so I'm not giving anything away, but we're going to play the entire Hemisphere, the Cygnus X1 Book 2 Hemispheres piece, because it's just something we love to play, and we've got a video up there on YouTube with that, but we're going to do that, but not, it was just funny for him to go, well, if we're going to play the whole Hemispheres album,
In order.
like, joke's on me.
Yes.
But,
I guess whenever someone assumes like, oh yeah, we're playing Hemispheres. Oh, you mean the entirety Hemispheres or just the book?
yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Rocky, what does the Moving Pictures playing that mean to you? What do you think?
The Moving Pictures album?
Yeah, about playing that album. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm excited. I think, well, I mean, not to be like other songs aren't as good or something, but I think that's one of the best albums that they have. And like you said, it was the peak of their career. It was like right when things were changing for them. And I just think it represents a lot. And I think things are definitely leveling up for us. The fact that we're even going to Australia feels like a big level up. And so it just makes sense, I think, to play that album and kind of almost be relating to it in a way and living that. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great choice of album, and you've certainly, like, I've seen whispers and all that through the community of other songs that have been leaked out through the channels. I'm most excited for Mystic Rhythms. Apparently that's coming through. So the closing track from Power Window is one of my favorites, one of my favorite drum patterns. If Matt was here, I'd be praising him with all gods, telling him, because pretty complex part. You think it's pretty simple with the drum beat, but when I play it for myself, it's not that easy.
No, it's not. Actually, yeah, that was a challenge for our drummer Matt, who you know, he's same thing. He's like, oh, I could sit down and bang this thing out. And after while he was working on it, he's like, that's actually like, you know, I mean, that was when Neil was getting into this four-way independence thing, you know, like with the electronic drum triggers and all that stuff. And he had a lot going on in that track, you know. So, and it's very moody, atmospheric, and a moving track, you know, its own way. It's not, I mean, so you never thought a song about outer space can be so moving, but it's or you know, signals from outer space, but it's more about us anyway, and it's just a really moving kind of piece, you know.
Yes. Was there any like consideration for post Presto songs to the set list, or are you going strictly 70s and 80s? So like 90s and beyond Rush.
Well, in terms of I'm trying to think about what we might have on there. I mean, we've played a number of things from Vapor Trails. We actually played the title track, Vapor Trails. Although that one involves the use of a double neck, which could be difficult to get on the plane to Australia, but we'll see how that goes. But that out, you know, so we played some stuff from there. We played you know, I think on Snakes and Arrows. I'm trying to think if we played anything on Snakes and Arrows. I mean, I love those. I love all those later albums. I'm not sure that a lot of that will make the set list because we wanted to get a lot of the really iconic stuff, being that we feel this responsibility to be bringing live Rush to Australia. We feel like we got to make the most of it, and so we're trying to cover the real high spots in the catalog that. And that doesn't mean only hits. There's a couple of deep cuts in there, a few deep cuts, and some people they have different opinions about what a deep cut from Rush is and is not. But you know, we'll have a good album variety there, and there's definitely some modern pieces. Yeah. The modern era synth era type of material on this tour.
Yeah, so like the Hold Your Fire, Grace Under Pressure, all that type of stuff. So as well, was there any consideration that maybe was there any consideration maybe Grace Under Pressure maybe would have been the feature album as well, because it's 40 years of Grace Under Pressure? Why not?
You know, I'm sure that at some point we're going to do that. I mean, what a phenomenal album. We've done Distant Early Warning, and we played The Enemy Within recently. We were doing the Fear trilogy, so we've got all three of those pieces. And I know some people will say, well, there's a fourth, but
do we count this?
That's another subject. Yeah, so we're gonna do so yeah, we'll definitely touch on that era, that time frame. But as far as like doing that someday, probably so. We were talking recently about doing the Power Windows album as a full album. So hey, if we can come back,
yeah,
right, Rocky, let's
we
come
can't
back
play for like 5 hours.
Yeah. If only it was that convenient, but no, you're gonna go all the way down under if you want like more shows. And also it depends on ticket sales as well. So have you gotten any word back from the management of how ticket sales have been across the venues?
Yeah, well, you know, there's like all shows, you know, we had an initial burst, and then it you know, it's sort of slowed in this middle period. I'm sure a lot of people were waiting to get their tickets, but get your tickets because it's going to be a great time. So, you know, we knew it'd be difficult to get the word out. As you mentioned, you know, the Rush community is a little bit on the underground in Australia, so we're gonna have to find the Rush fans. But if you're listening to this, get your tickets, you know, because oh, we just moved up to a larger venue in Adelaide as well, too. So yeah, we went from the Pranker to the Lion Arts Factory.
Okay.
So things are going all right, but we definitely want to do everything we can to find those Rush fans and get those tickets sold.
Yes, I think I did my bit because I've spent the last week or so here in Geelong in particular handing out your flyers. You're welcome to local
Thank
records.
you so much.
Yes,
Thank
that
you
was.
So much.
I texted Josh like, "Do you have any flyers that I can hand out here in Geelong?" And he hands me like 20 flyers in the mail. So I've been going out to all the local convenient record stores that I know that have stocked Rush or have sold Rush or have fans of Rush who may listen to other music and say, "Hey." They throw them all these flyers, and hey, maybe you get some other people that don't know Rush and come experience Rush for the very first time for themselves.
We honestly cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate that, Lee.
Yes, while speaking to my friend in Turkey who had a copy of Moving Pictures who didn't sell for like a few months, only for it to sell, and then he would get in Grace Under Pressure at original Japanese pressing, which has been staying there for a few months, but he's very excited to see you guys here in Australia. So he thought they would never see anything to do with Russia at all.
Well, yeah, we're excited too. I mean, we really just, and we get messages on Facebook from people who've got their tickets for various cities, and you know, we're just really grateful. We hope the momentum builds, so that, you know, the energy is in the room, but it's going to be a great show. I mean, we're really looking forward to each of these shows.
I guess for the final question, what's the first thing you're going to do when you arrive in Australia?
Collapse.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
a long
probably
flight.
pass out.
Yeah, that's a given.
Rocky, what are you doing? Rocky, you got a tip from Joshua for the for Brisbane when we're starting.
Yeah.
Because she has a particular desire.
I really want to hold a koala. That's like the one thing I want to do. They're my favorite animal, and I'm so excited to go where they're from. I'm just so excited. Yeah, if I can figure out how to do that, I want to do that. That's one thing I really want to do.
We have one day off in Sydney in the middle of the tour, so it happens to be my birthday, so I'm super excited about it. It's gonna be a nice birthday present to make sure Rocky sees a koala and holds a koala.
Yeah. Your birthday gift is my birthday gift.
Everyone's birthday gift.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on 94.7 The Pulse. The tickets, obviously, as where the flyer states, if you've seen it, or if you're on Facebook or whatever, following the Mood Lifter socials, I'm sure they've handed it out as much as they can. So go find your tickets there. Let's try and sell out the tour if we can. And we look forward to seeing Rush being played on a professional stage. And I think next month it starts. So I'm very excited.